Yes, and welcome back to episode 6 of DUD or SPUD Quickies. I'm Maniacal Mac, and as I say all the time in the intro, these are just quick run-throughs of films that would be perfect for DUD or SPUD, but we're not doing them because they're ones as we've seen before. And as we always see on DUD or SPUD, we get ones we've never seen for the genuine surprise. Another thing, YouTube's been a bit better with videos, but, you know, there's still a few that get blocked. So if you go on my Rumble account, all of them are on there. If you've got a Rumble account yourself, I suggest subscribing up if you can do that on Rumble. I don't really know, but all the videos are on there anyway. So if you want to see more DUD or SPUDs, check the link below. Right, so we'll get into this, right? Usually do start these episodes with an absolute banger, and we are, keeping true tradition. This one here, amazing film. It came out all the way back in 1987. I say all the way back. It's only like I come across it like about 2 years ago. Called The Barbarians. Now, this is quite a popular one. It's got David, Paul, and Peter Paul, the Barbarian brothers, they were called. They went on to do a few other films and stuff as well. I have seen some of the other stuff, so, you know, watch out for future Quickie episodes. They will be getting brought up again. But this film is just, it's so funny. It's fantastic. It's amazing. It's just, they're two jocks, but they're like Conan times, but they act like modern day jocks. Like fucking roidhead beefheads, but like lovable ones. Complete like childish, really stupid fantasy land. Just really fun film, to be honest with you. Fantastic scene that probably everyone knows from this film, if you know this, is this scene. Yeah, so really, there's not much more else to say with Barbarians except bang, SPUD. If you haven't seen already, do yourself a favour and get on it. It's fantastic watch. Next one we're going to go for came out in 2011 called Grave Encounters. This one is like what do they call them, like the sort of camera and night cam kind of things, you know, found footage film style, and loads of them have done it. Not really keen on these in general. When this one came out, I didn't mind it when I first watched it, but then it was an abundance of them came out. So I rewatched this about not too long ago, about 6 months ago, just to be like, you know, it's what I did mind. But after the second watch, it's like, this is pretty bunk, innit? At the time, it was something that was quite new, so I think that's probably, well, I say quite new, there hadn't been that many of them at the time. It was one of the better ones, I guess, if you're into your found footage films, but for me, overall, it was just a bit, I'll give it a dud. You might, like, some people might like it, but yeah, I don't know, it's just not really for me. Next one came out in 2018, so fairly newish film, called Nightmare Cinema. Got Mickey Rourke in this one, if I remember right. Yeah, Mickey Rourke's in it. He's kind of like the narrator, so, you know, he's like in a wraparound story. So this has got like 4 stories. First one's alright, it plays up a lot of the tropes of, like, you know, the final girl, and I think that was done alright. Second story was quite bunk from what I remember. Some woman gets like surgery, if I remember, or something like that. It was bunk. The third one was alright. It was like a priest, and like he's like fighting these like fucking little kids and that. He's like, you know, killing them and all sorts of shit, and there's like possessions going on and all that. That was like quite a funny scene. But then the last one was not really good. Then the last story, quite cheesy. The acting overall was quite bad. Yeah, I'm going to say it weren't good enough to get a SPUD, so I'll give it a dud. Would I recommend it, even though they had them 2 good stories? No, well, you probably find them on YouTube, if I'm honest with you, or just find the clips of them and, you know. But yeah, I'll give it a dud. So the next one we're going to go on about came out in 93. I believe it's an Australian film called Body Melt. Self-explanatory, you know what I mean? I think it's like the government on this one, like experiments on like a community or whatever. I can't remember. I think if it's like putting food or all sorts of stuff or drinks or this substance, but it just makes you melt from the inside. You're like, blah, blah, and it's, you know, it's infectious, and you know, like people around you can get infected. People start going crazy and stuff. Like, it was actually pretty good, this one. Like, you know, there was quite a good few gore factors in there. Also, there's Harold from Neighbours. Random story, when I was in uni, one of my mates, I'm trying to think who it was, he told me a story apparently, because in uni you'd have all these random people would come like there to do a show or whatever, and apparently Harold, who real name Ian Smith, was there, so he was around the area, and my mate saw him, was like, "Oh, Harold." Turned on, he's like, "Fuck off." I was like, "All right then." So I think what I meant to say is there was a guy who looked like Harold from Neighbours, and when he shouted that out, he said "fuck off" because you probably guess it all day, every day. I think that's what the story really was. But yeah, Body Melt, get the spud. Check it out. Next one we're gonna go on about came out in 2012, called Hellbenders. It was okay, this one. The one of the main guys on here, what was his name? Clancy Brown, probably the best character in the whole film. It had some okay moments, more so with him. There was funny here and there, but overall, like, I don't know, it just weren't that good. Like, you know what I mean? It was a bit like, oh, it's trying to be funnier than it is. Some okay effects, shot well. I can't really hate on it, but I just thought when I was finished with it, I just remember going, don't think I'll watch that one again, like, you know. So I'm gonna say it's a dud, but you know, some people might differ, but not a bad dud. It was close to a spud. But it was just, I think the acting and the cheese and some of the CGI was a bit too can't do it, you know. Right, here we go. You ready for that mind melter? If you've seen this, you already know. Visitor Q came out in 2001, a Japanese film. Where to start with this one? Kind of opens up with a guy who's shagging a prosy, which I'm pretty sure turns out to be his daughter. And then on his way home, like, he's just there, like, sitting at a bus stop, and some guy randomly, like, smacks him on the head with a brick. And then when he's about to get home, then after the bus stop, he's like, all like, you know, paranoid looking around. The guy turns up and smacks him on the head with a brick again. And the next scene, he's just having a meal with them, and he just kind of invites himself into the family. I think the meaning behind it is a broken family, like, you know, because obviously the husband's cheating on the wife with the daughters, that fucked up shit. The son's getting bullied, the father don't care. The mother's just not there, not with it, because, you know, just everyone's just, you know, there's no unity between them. So I think the whole point is this guy's coming in a weird way to bring them all together, but this gets fucking weird. Like, don't ask me why, but for some reason the mother's in the kitchen spraying loads of milk out of her tits. When I say loads of milk, I mean like the whole floor's flooded, like, and then I think the kid's there drinking the milk or something weird. Like, there's a lot of weird shit happens there. I remember in particular, the father decides to shag a corpse, and he gets stuck in there because of rigor mortis. She's stiffened up, and then he has to get the wife to help him get himself back out of this corpse. But then by the end of it, they were brought really close together. It's a really, really fucked up film. But yeah, you got to watch it for the wife. Give it a spud. Crazy film. Crazy film. Next one, very well known, so I'm going to just be quick about this one because it's one of them ones that, you know, or if you do a lot of these bad films, it's kind of like, you know, it's obligatory. You got to fucking do this one. Like, The Island of Dr. Moreau, the one that came out in 96, we all know the Val Kilmer one. More interesting is the actual documentary and story behind it about how this film was made. You know, that is more interesting in this film itself. As we all know, huge budget. As I said, I won't go into it much. You know, not the worst or not as bad as everyone says, but by all means, you'd be wasting like an hour and 36 minutes of your time watching this. Watch something else. Dud. I won't say too much more about it, really, you know. Next one, Necrostorm film, so you know it's going to be absolutely mental, called Taeter City. Came out in 2012. Yeah, this one's just nuts. Absolutely nuts. Let's actually read the description of this so this film can try and justify what it's about. Using a mass-controlled radio wave emission, a cannibal dictator brings Taeter City's crime rates next to zero, recycling the criminals' bodies as food. Then the ultimate mutation emerged. Can the elite police squad clear the mess up? So that's actually a pretty good description, yeah, because you get all these things, people just start going, like, going suicidal, killing themselves, their heads are blowing up, all sorts of mad shit happening. But the one guy is following, he's kind of like, yeah, like one of these mutated guys, because you don't fully get affected by it, and he has powers as well. Tons and tons of gore and blood. A lot of it is very fast, shaky, and quick cut. So, like, some of you might be like, fuck, it's giving me a bit of an headache. And I remember the first time I watched it, it was like, oh, I'm liking, like, the gore and that, but fuck, I do have a little bit of an headache, so it is that. But it's an experience, it's a ride, this Necrostorm, bang. It's got to be done, I recommend it. Next one came out in 2017 called The Evil Within. The same name as a game, but nothing to do with the game. This film's fucking mad, right? Absolutely nuts. It's like, let you go, I'll read the description for you. A lonely, mentally handicapped boy befriends his reflection in an antiques mirror. This demonic creature orders him to go on a murderous rampage to kill the people he loves most. Again, pretty good description. When you noticed, I said someone plays a mentally handicapped person. Like, that's the thing. He certainly tries.
How can I trick myself?
You think someone else is telling you these stories?
It has to be.
Someone like...
Like, where's John Travolta in A Fanatic done something similar? That was, like, hilarious, like, in a way. It was, watching, I was just like, fuck, man, he's actually doing this? You know what I mean? It was kind of like that. The guy from The Hills Have Eyes is in there. There's some fucking mad visuals. I give it that. Some weird shit going on. But, yeah, it was just, like, I just didn't know what to think of it. I was very, at the end, like, okay. And it's like, I do want to give this a spud just because, again, like, I think I need to re-watch it. But, yeah, I just remember even when it was finished and I actually sat down, I was like, fucking hell, like, that was a DVD I'm not going to keep in the collection. I remember very soon after getting rid of it, so I think that says it all. So I'm going to have to say a dud, but on a re-watch, it may potentially get a spud, but I doubt it, if I'm honest with you. I doubt it. Last one to finish with, started with a banger, let's finish with a banger. Next to no one I know knows of this film. Absolutely fantastic film, came out in 1988, called Unmasked, Part 25. I know it's a mad name, innit? Unmasked, Part 25, you see the guy's face on the cover. So I don't know what to expect with this. I was like, oh, okay, Unmasked, something that's Part 25 is going to be like kind of parody-ish and all that. Took me by surprise so much. The main, basically, this like serial killer, you know, he's just killing people in the Jason mask. And he falls in love with a blind woman. Now, because she's blind, she can't see he's a killer. And he takes to her and then he wants to stop being a killer. And when he's taking the mask off, he's all deformed and stuff. Because she's blind, she can't see. And that's why, obviously, he can't get women. Because they look at him and scream. He's like, oh, I'm going to kill him. But it's hilarious because he speaks like Shakespeare. He's so well spoken. It's amazing. I'll put a clip here.
Back, ye baffled fiends. The hand of death is on me. Not yours. 'Tis over. My dull eyes can fix see not, but all things swim around me, and the earth heaves as were beneath me.
That was wonderful.
Right, this actor was hilarious, his character was hilarious, everyone was having fun, really good horror comedy. 1988, as I said, came out. Yeah, I know next to no one that knows this, and not that it needed a sequel, but I could have watched another 6 of these films, you know, another, well, I say Part 25, I wish it was Part 25, really, but, yeah, highly recommend this, Spud. If you've not seen this film, I just say, you know, go and watch it, because you don't have to be into horror to enjoy it, 'cause it's funny, you know, it's just a really good film. I think most people will enjoy it just because of how silly it is, and it don't take itself serious, and it shows. But yeah, I've been Maniacal Mac, so that was Quickies episode 6. We'll be back with you with another one soon. So, and hopefully now next episode will be another Quickies, or it might actually be another full episode, depending, you know, what order we do them in. But thanks for joining as always. Maniacal Mac out. Peace.
Maniacal Mac.